class.
So the way they taught us was, if you black, you black. You see? So, but one thing I noticed is the guys that come, I think, from Africa and Middle East, they are a different kind of black. Those are the one kind of like tend to talk down on the Black Americans in a way. I didn't notice none of that until I got into the space, because I wasn't raised with Africans like that.
Yeah,
all the blacks I was raised was the African Americans and the blacks that come from South America.
I don't know if I completely get with that, just based off the last show on Lil Podcast show, when old girl pretty much told you how the Dominicans felt. She literally
which one? What she said?
I think what she said, something about like she wouldn't. They looked at Puerto Ricans a certain way, and they basically looked at them the same ways they looked at American black, and like lazy, and I forget it was something else she said, but that's how her parents looked at them. And then like if she wanted a Puerto Rican, she wouldn't get one from here, she would get one straight from Puerto Rico. But they didn't mess with Black Americans, because they looked at them in a negative. Like she literally just said that on a little podcast.
Yeah, she said that yesterday. I just forgot who it was.
That was this morning, World Class.
Yeah, my thing is this.
That was this morning.
Oh, this morning? Okay.
Yeah, my thing with this, with that, fellas, I never understood it either. I never understood that, even as a kid, you know, because I spent a lot of time in New York, a lot of family up there and everything. And everybody kind of got along or whatever. But then you did hear that whole thing, but where Africans would look at, that's when I noticed, even as a child, like Africans did look at us different. You know, I used to watch them when they had these outdoor swap meets or whatever up there in Harlem. And then the Africans to charge some black people one price. My mama got into it with one of the dudes, because she's like, nah, I just saw you sell this same purse to that chick, to that bitch over there for X amount of dollars, but you want to charge me twice that? That's the price, man. Fuck. And my mama got a mouth on him, right? She would bargain, motherfuck that. I ain't paying you that price. Nah.
Racism is a misunderstood concept. People don't understand what racism really is. It's a tool of convenience and also an economic strategy. So economics plays a big role in what they market to you as racism a lot of times. So what happens with a lot of immigrants, and this is where the FBA, you know, has an issue with it. Mm-hmm. They're black when it's convenient, and then they're immigrants when it's convenient.
Yeah, I got a problem with that.
Precisely the issue.
I got a problem with that too.
They're immigrants. They're immigrants when they do something good. If they become a doctor, they're the first Ugandan doctor, the first Nigerian doctor. But when them niggas go shoot up an airport or do something to a woman, you know, out here, then all of a sudden they just black.
Okay, here's a problem I have, because
they trying to hide the hairline then.
Now y'all gangbang, and I appreciate a good gangbang, and I had to cam up a gangbang with y'all. Check this out. We're segregated based on culture. Mm-hmm. So even as men of different cultures, we can appreciate different cultures, and we can incorporate those into our lives. Like Mexicans don't talk about tacos more than me. You know what I'm saying? What?
But you know what though, Dirty? Here's the thing. That's generally speaking, and that's what, like I've said plenty of times on I think twice on Big Mike, is that nigga, I thought we was on the same team. I can accept that. I hate it, but I didn't try the fufu. You know what I mean? I've done that. I've done jerk chicken. I've done different cultures, the dances, the outfits, all of that. We've done that. But the problem that I'm seeing and that Big Mike has seen is that it's specifically what has been brought up. Y'all niggas do fuck shit and pretend to be us. It's identity theft. It ain't an issue of culture. Like you pretending to be somebody you're not when you do fuck shit. But then when you successful, you the first Ghanaian to do X. You the first Nigerian to do this.
Okay. It is about culture. Okay. If I say online internet scam that the Bank of England is holding $5 million in your name and I need your social, what ethnic group do you think I'm talking about?
Nigerians.
Fucking right. So even with color, we still talking culture. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. if you want to
But
change,
that's what they hide. That's what they hide, Dirty, and that's what we against. Stop hiding your culture.
I agree with you.
We don't really know what we're gonna call ourselves. I think freedman is the term that kind of describes everybody, the politically recognized term.
Yeah,
that describes everybody in that. But
I would be with that more than the FBA. But go ahead, my bad.
I roll with freedmen over FBA. Plus, they trying to make that shit like a hate group or something now. So you know what I mean? It's totally lost its.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
There's still a problem with that though, because it ties your origins to slavery. Like
exactly, like we call ourselves the Urkian tribe because Urkian means patriarchy in Chippewa.
Like I say, from down south in small cities down south. I ain't mean to cut you off, Dirty. In small cities down south, a lot of times your family shares the name of a white family in the same town, so you already know. You know what I mean? You don't have to guess. And I think maybe not being geographically away from that, being in different regions of the United States, I could see how maybe you wouldn't know if you went to, came from slavery or not. But you got to think about this. There were free people of color, Indian amalgamations, whatever you want to call them. There were free people, and there were people who were enslaved. So the ones that were freed men already. Everybody just got their freedman status after slavery. So it's still not a delineation between that and those descendants of slaves. Well, we see what happens when you try to reinvent yourself. Tariq Nasheed just got a visit from the FBI for coming up with FBA.
Yeah, here's the thing.
So when you try to reinvent yourself, you already know the heat coming down on you. Because our people can't reinvent themselves in this country without some kind of violent backlash.
So I'm probably the least educated on all this stuff, but I do understand what y'all saying because I didn't even know what FBA was, and for me, it's got confusing because we're caught up. And when I say we're, I'm not talking about just the gentleman on the panel. I'm talking about as a people, culture, whatever. We caught up with how to identify ourselves, and I don't even know what we identifying ourselves to even do because. Like for me, racism, it's there, whatever. But even being in Cali, I don't pay attention to it because I'm gonna do what I gotta do, regardless of the restrictions, the laws, or whatever. Even when we find a name for ourselves, they still gonna figure out a back way door not to give us what we asking for. My question is, what are we asking for?
That's a good question.
Well, wait, and also, who are we going to send to speak on our behalf? We have no representative.
I want to be on the UN.
We have no. But the thing is, we have no recognized representative, and they're not going to listen to us as a collective unless we have one person to go speak on our behalf.
Oh my God!
But at the same time, back to what y'all was saying, what do we don't even know what we want to ask for. Like there's companies. This report came out. This company. When the whole Black Lives Matter thing first started with George Floyd, they asked their people the people to send them a representative and tell them what they can do and what do they want to help Black people that work for the company, right? Them motherfuckers, they sent a woman in, right? They got women to committee up and do this. These chicks went in there and said, "We like to wear Black Lives Matter T-shirts to work."
Mistake. That was mistake number one.
That's what they had. Like out of all, and you finally got their ear. You finally have not only their ear, but their attention. They're paying attention to you. You asked to wear fucking T-shirts.
Okay, right. So let me ask you.
How does that phrase go? Never send a child to do a man's job.
I agree, but it's just shit crazy, man. Like, holy fuck.
Okay, so here's the thing. So and that goes back to the idea of a freedman. I don't care about the name. The idea of freedman is the idea of all inclusiveness based on a historical precedent. When I'm saying I don't give a fuck about history, what I give a fuck about is today. History is a blueprint of what worked and what didn't work so you can modify it. It's not a blueprint of who should come with you. Because even if today they said, okay, we'll get everybody 40 acres and a mule, if you could trace your lineage back to 1860, these bitches don't know who their baby daddy is. So goddamn it, man, it'll be 4 kids and only one of them FBA, if you want to call it that. Like, you're at a point that you just got to start from now and say, this is what we're doing now.
No.
And I think that's the problem.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice whether you like history or not. Like, this is not a conversation for finesse. You don't have a choice on what it is. You can't make up a name. You have to come up the same way you went back down. You don't have a choice. You have to know law. You have to know history. You have to come up. It is one word and one word only. You don't like it, stay a slave. It's MOOR. You're not going to be recognized outside of being a Moor. I don't care who you are. This is an empire. It's still operating today. The treaty is still in position, and that's it. Do what you want, but it's not going to work. I promise you. So you have to understand, like, these other countries, because it's called rights of indigenous people. You have a right to a nationality, right? They've been using that to declare their nationality and come back the same way they were, establish stuff the same way they were, so you can't be paid reparations. It's not going to happen. They're not claiming that. They're claiming a grievance. You can't come up and make nothing new. You have to, because those people don't exist. The new name that you come up don't exist.
No,
Black people don't exist.
I know what you're saying. Okay, so let me reverb.
Hold on one second.
Go ahead.
With everything that's written down, see what we're talking about, and what my idea of reparations would be to give me back the shit that was taken from my family.
That's what I'm saying.
So that money was deposited under the name of freedmen in the Freedmen's Bank. There was a Freedmen's Bureau that officiated and administered all of this paperwork. The railroads from the east to the west were built with money from that bank.
That's true.
And it wasn't loaned. There was not interest paid on that. There's a paper trail of money that's owed back to people's families. So you don't even have to create anything out of thin air. You really just have to trace the paperwork back to the Freedmen's Bank and the Freedmen's Bureau and see whose money was taken, because damn near everybody had money in there, because that was the only places we could bank at.
And that goes
all you would have to do at that point is make a qualified claim, and that's it. You have to make a qualified claim. I always say do both, but then if one of them comes with everything in law is about your jurisdiction. So one of these things puts you in a place where you want to be, and another thing puts you in a place where you don't want to be. To answer Black's question, what we want is our shit back. I want my shit back. I want what perfect. Everything that's in the Smithsonian that they have that belongs to us is worth more than this country.
Okay, I like that.
Same thing can be said about Africa with the British Museum.
They would be fools to resist my divine power.
His death was a necessary loss. Soon I will have a new apprentice, one far younger and more powerful.
Remember, when a king is loved as I am, much can be accomplished.
We didn't do this because we like you. We did this because we are you.
Boom, the world class.